Alright, it's not so much life of a recovery operator today, it's more life of a tray plate driver today. So you're going to explain what these are. They're a number plate that, it's a weird thing. Cars without tax, MOT, not necessarily insured. If you want to move them, I mean, when I say cars like that, we're talking about possibly brand spanking new cars that have never been registered on the road. Cars that, you know, have never ever touched the road before. They do sometimes need moving around. If a customer buys one and it's got to go from that depot to that depot, you have to move them. Now you can remove them on a recovery vehicle, sure, or you can just have what they call a tray plate driver with tray plates, and they put this on the car. So one goes in the front windscreen as a rule, one goes on the back of the vehicle somewhere, so they're clearly displayed. You have to tax these. I know it sounds stupid, but these have to be taxed just like you do tax an ordinary car. But they basically are your authorisation to move that vehicle. So today I'm moving a van from Manchester with these. It's probably not got any, well, it's definitely won't be any tax or insurance on it. Hence, we need to use the tray plates, and possibly maybe MOTs. But the tray plates basically are a multi-use thing really. We can turn around and take cars to or from MOT testing stations. You can't move scrap. That's the one thing you can't use these for. You're not allowed to move scrap vehicles with these because obviously that's not really, it's deemed unsafe. I mean, you can't use a vehicle that's sort of like fallen apart and just put these in your car and just keep driving around on it. People do that, but it's strictly not really allowed. So as you can see there, you got the, you know, they're a little bit different to the old days, because what you used to have in the old days is there'd be, you know, a cover with one side would have like a triangle thing with a tax disc in it. Obviously, because now we don't have tax discs anymore, there's no need for them. So like I said, obviously it's the bungee cord. The one with the bungee cord goes on the back of the vehicle, and the one without will sit in the windscreen. So yeah, we're going to move these vans today and get this all sorted out. And there'll be more footage later on of that. So it's not so much life of a recovery operator today, it's more life of a tray plate driver today. So we're going to go in, I'm going to finish my cup of tea before everybody turns up, and we start making a move for Manchester, and just going to have a general 5 minutes before we go. So that's it, and more footage to come. You found them cable ties yet?
Found one.
You found fucking two? Grab the camera again. Yeah. I'll tell you what, they're on about pollution, right? There's more pollution in this car where every fucker smoking, right? You open the windows, it looks like they're cutting cars on fire. Huh?
I think you should see people smoking them e-cigarettes with the windows open.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it. He's filming now, look, see? Huh? You're on candid camera now, John. Big eye to the police don't recognise you.
One side of thinking
Oh, pissing off up in Manchester. Pick up 2 vans for export. We have a load of Africans driving them around in a few months' time. So obviously that's what the tray plates are for. It's not strictly recovery, so we're using two of us tray plates each. Go up and grab them, bring them back, and yeah, nice to actually not be driving for once. Alright, Dan?
I'm alright.
Huh?
I'm alright.
Sure. Don't know about this gay music though. Huh?
What's wrong with Erasure?
There's nothing wrong with Erasure, but it's the same CD that you've had in this car for the last 2 years. Huh?
It was a Christmas present.
It was a Christmas present. It was a Christmas present. Sure about that?
Yeah.
Somebody must really hate you, mate. They really must hate you.
I like Erasure. Nothing wrong with Erasure.
Oh, I suppose not. Look at this twat here with his suit on. Bloody hell. Might be getting a little wet. It's a bit wet out there. So yeah, we'll grab these bloody things and get home and
move the next truck.
well, we're going to attempt to. after we got the bloody truck all set up yesterday, to find that the A38 was completely solid, there was no way I was going to drag the Mercedes with that bloody 65 in the back through Burton-on-Trent straight down the M42. Sod that. You want a straight run. Fingers of a straight bar, it's not the most comfortable thing to use either. You want a straight one with that, and obviously the A38 is pretty much a straight run. There's a few islands as you head towards Birmingham. Come off at the Belfry, sorry, at Bassett's Pole, head down towards the Belfry, over junction 9 of the M42 towards Coleshill. A few quite nasty hills, but to be fair, that Mercedes will crawl up there, so I think it'll be a problem to get it where it's got to go. 65's got to go to John's here, so we can finish off all the work on it really. Get it on the road, because while that's sitting there, it's not earning anything. Yeah, John needs a truck over there, so it's getting it done, getting it so it can be used, start earning its keep as it was, because since that's been bought, I've sat there, not turned a wheel for revenue, and it's not insured and it's not taxed at the moment. There's no point doing that. Obviously, again, when we move it, that's when these come in. But obviously, get it over there, get the engine running perfectly, because obviously, as you saw in the other video, it was running rough, plenty of smoke. So we want to sort all of that out, get it sorted out, and then turn around and finish off the welding, be on the road again. Obviously, with the law changing in May 2018, we're not exactly sure what's going to happen. What could happen is the fact that it becomes MOT-able. At the moment it's exempt, so we might have to start doing maybe some bits and pieces to it to make it comply with that. I'm not saying it's not roadworthy, but obviously it depends on what the MOT decide that they want from it. It's hard to say, so again, time will tell and we'll see, but for now,
do you reckon you could try and get alongside him? second failed attempt at moving the bloody thing. Haven't got a compressor that will get on the tyre valve because it's a stupid fixed bloody thing, and now it's losing brake fluid. You ever get the feeling that one of these things just ain't meant to be? Give it a good rev. Just give up. Maybe it's not destined to move. Never mind. Right, solid. Oh, what a day. It's obviously bringing these vans back from Wigan. Me and John, Christ. what a palaver they were. Basically they're for export. So what happens with them is we picked them up from Wigan, took them to a yard in Balsall Common, where basically they get thrown into shipping containers and sent to the Gambia. So yeah, they go to Africa basically. Then both of them vans are. My one, Christ, that was an experience. They're probably not the best to maintain things, and every time I put my foot down, it decided to want to lurch towards the central reservation. So I dare and put my foot down. I was sort of like hoping for the, John's one got as far as coming off the M6 at Coleshill, and to find that he only had third and fourth gear. So as he got stuck at some of the islands, trying to pull away in third gear, didn't really do it the great, nice smell of clutch as he did. So the whole idea was to try and keep it going while he could, and crawling back to the yard as it was. So yeah, once we'd done them, obviously come back to Tamworth, swap vehicles, or did a bit of a vehicle swap. I had to do a headlight in one car, just do a few swap rounds and rescue John's Jag, because that's brakes failed on it this morning. So that's stuck outside the house. So that'll have to go to the yard at some point during the week. But basically, we went back over to try and move the 65, which is what we wanted to do yesterday, hence all the work we were doing on it yesterday. It transpired last night that because the A38 was full of traffic, I didn't want to drag it through Burton-on-Trent, and quite rightly so, especially during rush hour traffic. So we thought we'd have a go today. Well, unfortunately, it's so smoky, as you'll see. Obviously, you've seen on the video. So it's so smoky, it certainly couldn't be driven. It can't really be left with the engine running either, because again, see the smoke it generates. It's raining, and it's raining heavy, so therefore you're going to have to constantly use the windscreen wipers. So you can't really have the ignition on. I mean, it's about a 60-mile trip. You can't really have the ignition all the way on and turn around and have the wipers going all the time, plus have lights because of the low light conditions, and expect the battery to last out the trip. Can't really start it because of smoke. So that was one major problem. The second major problem was the brake light came up on the dashboard, the warning light came up on the dashboard, and the brake pedal was now spongy. So we've looked at it and thought, it's half the brake reservoir is it's obviously the brake fluid's there, so I'm concerned that there's an issue. Maybe there's something, can't see anything, but bear in mind it's so wet, you're not necessarily going to see anything. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. Yes, we could top it up, because it's on a straight bar and the Mercedes is doing all the braking, it wouldn't have been so much of a problem, but I'd rather have a look at it before we go any further. And the final nail in the coffin was, we blew up, the front tyres were soft. The one side, it's an ordinary car valve, it's flexible. I'd rather keep the compressor on that with no trouble, so I obviously blew it up to 60 psi. Perfect. Tried to do the same with the other side. It's got one of these stupid fixed valves that's rigid, and I can't, because my compressor is also rigid. So you got the level, that's your tyre valve, and you're trying to come in that angle, so you can't screw. Obviously it's a thread, you can't screw onto it. So there was absolutely no way that compressor was going to blow that tyre up. So as that tyre was down to 25 psi, it basically was the final nail in the coffin for that. So basically it got parked back up again, dumped back where it was, and we'll have to look at it again another day. But yeah, it's one of those. I mean, that 65, looking further into it, I believed it was a valve problem. That's why it runs like it does and smokes like it does. when I put with that engine's the second engine been put into it, and we thought when we put it in there, all the valves were stuck. So initially we thought the reason it's running like it is because the piston's come up and has clobbered the valve head and has bent the valve so it won't seat properly. Now I'm not so sure. When we pulled the dipstick out, the amount of oil in there was actually twice what it should be, and I'm a little concerned because we've changed the oil up to the correct level. So the only thing I can think of is the second engine we bought, the fourth injector was missing, and I'm wondering if it's got wet in there, and obviously the bore's rusted, and we've turned the engine over, and it's basically damaged either the wall of the cylinder, damaged the piston rings, something like that. What concerns me now is that all that extra so-called oil in there could be diesel. So that's the reason it's not running right, and of course the reason it's full of it's smoking like it does. So the only way, obviously, what we've got to do is take the cylinder head off, have a look, see what we see inside it. The way of testing that really is to put number 4 piston down to bottom dead centre and fill it full of diesel. Just fill the bore full of diesel and see what happens. And obviously, well, not fill it so much, but put plenty in it. And obviously, in the morning, what we should find is that diesel is still in there. I suspect what we'll find in the morning is there'll be no diesel in there at all because it's gone through the rings back into the sump. And if that's the case, obviously, we've got to look at what will happen next. If the bore isn't badly damaged, if the bore's fine and the piston's fine, then maybe we'll just re-ring that one piston. Though I suspect, if I'm honest with you, I suspect that there will be damage to the bore if there is. Therefore it's a complete bottom end. So then I've got to look down the route of either replacing the engine with another one, so that'll be the third one, or just buying a bottom end, which is probably my preferred option, because if the cylinder head's good, we've got everything else we need. It's going to be far cheaper just to buy a bottom end. Obviously put gaskets on and do the whole, start the whole rigmarole over again. It's going to be a lot easier for us to do that. At least we know exactly what's going into that engine. The trouble with buying a second-hand engine is you just don't know what you're getting. I bought the engine off another vehicle recovery operative who said it was running when he took it out. I'm concerned that, I am concerned that obviously at the moment that engine probably was fine when it came out, but if that injector's been missing for quite some time, water's got into there or moisture's got into there, it's rusted up the bore, and that's obviously going to cost us now, because that engine was £300 when we bought it, and basically it's £300 for nothing. So this is the problem. You get so far into it, and it's frustrating. It's certainly frustrating for us to get so far, and then you feel like you're getting somewhere, then all of a sudden you get knocked back. It's one of those things. There's no point worrying about it. We've just got to rectify the problem. Obviously, you see the amount of work that has already had to go on into doing it, and now we've got to do it all again. So it's one of those things. But for now, obviously, I'm having a day off tomorrow. I'm down the railway tomorrow, steam railway tomorrow. Yes, I'm working, but I'm not messing around with, I'm not messing around with recovery or anything else. So we'll have some probably footage of that tomorrow as well, and we'll go from there. But yep, for obviously for what we've done, it's been a hectic day really, with that trip up to Wigan and bringing back them vans, which were, how can I put it? Don't really fancy drag racing them down the M6 anytime soon again. But anyway, that's it for now, and thanks for watching.